Welcome again to my film talk. It is I, the unknown name. And hopefully you guys liked my last video on the life with Derek. Yeah, life with Derek. But now I'm going to change it up a bit to something else. Something I've been recently watching, as you can tell already by the title. I'll be talking about Teen Wolf, Season 1 of Teen Wolf. And basically why this show became such an addicting show to so many people. I've watched Teen Wolf before, and I don't know why, but for some reason I just was craving it for the past couple of months, and then randomly last week it showed up on Hulu out of nowhere, and apparently it's been there since March 22nd. So shout out to Hulu for having it so I could rewatch the whole Well, I don't know if I'm going to watch all the seasons, because honestly, to me, it stops getting better after season 3. And for anyone who has watched Teen Wolf, you exactly know the reason why. For anyone who hasn't, I don't know if I'm going to give away like spoilers of what happens in the future of these seasons, but basically I'm going to be breaking down all of season 1, episodes 1 through 12, which I thought for some reason they had at least around like the average amount of episodes that shows had back in like 2011, 10, whatever, which was around 24 episodes, but apparently they only have 12, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So basically I'm just going to give you like a summary of everything that's going on. Hopefully you find it enjoyable. If you want me to move on to season 2, I just finished watching season 2. If you hear any pages turning, it's because I wrote down a lot of notes. So enjoy that. ASMR. I don't know why I can never get that right. ASMR. Okay, so right now we're going to start off with the characters, which are the most important characters. I'm not going to talk about every single character that's in all of the seasons or in just season 1. We're just going to start with the important characters of season 1, which is Scott, Styles, Lydia, Jackson, Allison, and Derek. Now, Scott McCall is the main character. He is apparently, I think, a sophomore, a 15, 16. I mean, he kind of looks like a sophomore. But yeah, he's a 15 or 16-year-old sophomore in high school. He is the Teen Wolf. And I also searched like the description so I can give you guys a better description based on Google and not my memory. Alright, so Scott McCall is the son of Raphael and Melissa McCall. I don't even remember the father's name, but it's not important anyway. And the main protagonist of the MTV series Teen Wolf. He is loosely based on Scott Howard, the protagonist of the 1985 film Teen Wolf. When I read this, I was wondering why they changed the last name from Howard to McCall. I don't know if there's like a backstory to that, but I mean, I was just curious. Not curious enough to go search myself and see what it's about. But if anyone knows, you can put it down in the comment section and I'll read it. I just don't feel like searching it because I don't want to. Anyway, moving on to Styles. Styles Stilinski. This is Scott's BFF, is what I have in the notes. He's the quirky girl. I feel like Styles is supposed to be that type of person, but like he's a lot better, and no one can tell me otherwise. He's not relatable, but his acting, like he's funny. He's a funny person. His first name, this is like a big thing that everyone wanted to know when the show was out. Like, what the heck is his first name? Because they never showed it, or told us about it, I think, until the very last season. Well, no, they did tell us the very last season, and his name is from his mother's father's name. His name is from his mother's father, something like that. Here's a description of him. And when I was doing my research on this man, I don't know why they have this as his character summary, but I'm gonna read it to you. And it says, the first name that I don't feel like pronouncing, Stilinski, better known as Styles Stilinski, is the main character of the Teen Wolf series. He is the son of Noah and Claudia Stilinski. Never knew the parents' names either. The best friend to Scott McCall. He's also the boyfriend of Derek Hale. He was born in... Like, what? The boyfriend of Derek Hale? Since when? And who decided to put that in there? Who did that? The disrespect. That was so uncalled for and out of pocket. Period. Anyway, we're just gonna skip that part. The best friend to Scott McCall, who was born in 1994 to Noah and Claudia Stilinski and grew up in Beacon Hills, California. I'm still confused on why they put that he was in a relationship with Derek Hall. Uncalled for. So speaking of his boy toy, we're going to move on to Derek Hale. Why did I say Hall? Oh my goodness. How dare I? Derek Hale. We're moving on to him, who is this mysterious man. He's the wolf that apparently turned Scott, but later on, as I talk about this show, we'll realize that, spoiler, it's not him. He has this troubled childhood, which is why he's like all dark and stuff. And then the one thing that I really want to talk about with this man, it has nothing to do with his wolf powers or his fighting skills or whatever. Or even, like, it has to deal, if you watch the Life with Derek episode, you may know where I'm going with this. But it has to deal with a piece of clothing. And that piece of clothing is the leather jackets. And I don't know what it is, but as I was watching season 1 and 2, everyone who was a wolf flooded in leather jackets like they were on sale from JCPenney or something. Like, I don't understand why. Like, I don't know if that's like part of their badge of honor, that it comes with the leather, like the badge of honor is the leather jackets, because every single person that turned into a wolf, especially in season 2, wore a leather jacket. For what? Like, why? What was the reason? What was the reason? Even Lydia and Allison, I don't remember seeing any pictures of Jax, but like, it was glued onto these wolves like it was their own skin. Like, I don't understand. Plus, aren't they like hot since they're supposed to be like dogs or whatever? They don't need the extra warmth. You know what I mean? Anyway, Styles was the only person that was not wearing a leather jacket. There is this one photo. I don't know if it's from the show, but he is wearing a leather jacket. I just don't know if it's from the show or if this is just some photo shoot for the show. And then there's another picture of him, but it's like for the premiere, so that doesn't count at all. Moving on, Allison. So, Allison, I mean, there's not much to say about her right now because I'm not trying to give her anything away since I'll be talking about the episode. Allison is, you're going to have a love-hate relationship for this girl. And once again, you'll know why because of season 3 and even part of season 2. But she is Scott's crush, later on girlfriend. She's apparently a 17-year-old sophomore, which act like it's such a big thing. But later on in the show, I need to stop saying that. Later on in the show, up and coming. No. Anyway, that's pretty much it. We're gonna move on to her best friend, whose name is Lydia Martin. I forgot to say Allison's last name. It's Allison Argent. If you cared. It's Allison Argent. Okay, back to Lydia Martin. I feel like Lydia, I didn't even know what Lydia's last name was until I was searching the description. But her last name's Martin. I feel like she's the only character where no one really cares about her last name because they're not saying it as much. Maybe they say it later on in the seasons. I don't know. I forgot. I just stopped at season 2. So she's a popular girl. She plays dumb, but is actually really smart. And she dates a guy named Jackson. The only thing I have about Lydia is her hair in the first season. Lydia's hair is very pretty. It gets a lot, like Holland Roden is her real name. Her hair is gorgeous. It's lovely. A lot of redheads have really pretty hair, and I don't know if it's like the color that's making it stand out so much more, but like in the first season, whoever was doing her hair, like it wasn't bad or anything, but like it got a whole lot better in part of season 2, and I know it gets better after that, but I just didn't like her hair in the first season, and I don't know why it was bothering me, but it was. Anyway, back to Jackson, or we're moving on to Jackson. Jackson is apparently captain of the swim team and the lacrosse team. Oh, sorry, co-captain of the lacrosse team. That becomes a joke in season 2 and part of season 1. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've been in high school. Plus, I didn't really care about the sports that were going on that much unless I just felt like going to a game with my friends. Is it possible for you to be a captain / co-captain in 2 different teams at the school that you're going to? I feel like that's kind of hard. Like, you're part of the swim team and the lacrosse team. You're in water and on land. He's pretty much a know-it-all. He's supposed to be the hot guy. Falls for him and whatever, but he has the hot girl, which is Lydia. And the other thing is he's adopted, and no one really knows about his parents and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, so this is random, but after I was doing some research about the characters, the actors, because I mean this is like part of my field to like learn about the actors and stuff, and I came across the ages, their real name by memory, and I don't know why it's stuck with me, maybe because I just liked Teen Wolf so much when it was out. But Allison, also known as Crystal Reed, and Derek Hale, who is played by Tyler Hoechlin, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Allison, or Crystal Reed, who plays Allison, is older than the guy who plays Derek by 2 years. But like, what? You mean to tell me when she was playing a 17-year-old girl in season 1, she was actually older than Derek, who looks like he's not even fresh out of college. It looks like he's been through a lot after college. And then I keep looking. Lydia Holland Roden is a year older than Derek. Tyler Hoechlin. What? Like, what? And then I just added the other people, but like, I mean, it's not that important, but I just could not believe that Allison is technically older than Tyler Posey and Dylan O'Brien. They're both the same age. They're just 2 months apart. Dylan O'Brien is 2 months older. The guy that plays Jackson, Colton Haynes, I hope I'm saying his last name right. Tyler Hoechlin is actually 2 years older than him. But like, everyone is around the same age except for the two main characters, which is Dylan O'Brien and Tyler Posey. I don't know. The whole Allison and Derek thing, like Crystal Reed and Tyler Hoechlin, that stuff that just blew my mind. I was like, what the heck is going on? We're gonna start off with season 1, episode Uno. So right off the bat, we get this rock star type of music, which we're going to be hearing a lot throughout this season. I don't know if that's what werewolves listen to, with the whole techno, rock, hip type of beats. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. So right off the bat, rock star music. Post Malone, 21 Savage. A shirtless shot of the main character. Surprising, I know. He's getting ready for a sports game, which we will later on know is lacrosse. And lacrosse, by the way, is taken very seriously. Very seriously. And then we hear this like noise out of nowhere, and it's like, oh my gosh, what's happening already? We're only like 3 minutes, not even a minute into the show. And we meet the second character of the show, Styles, who swings in like Tarzan from Scott's roof. Why? I don't know. Style gives out some information to Scott about the cops finding half a dead body, and they want to go figure out for themselves like what happened. Styles' dad is a police officer. Well, maybe, I don't know if I said that already, but he is, and that's how Styles gets all this information, because his father is a cop. They go into the woods. Scott is left alone in the woods because Styles gets caught by his father. Police county, I guess, just dropped everything to go find this half body and see what the heck is going on. So Styles gets caught by his father, takes him home. Doesn't say that Scott's there with him, so Scott is left alone in the woods. What a true friend. Scott's left alone. He decides to head back home, I think, and he is bitten, and he also finds the body. Insert the 1 second clip of the theme song, which has not been invented yet, and I totally forgot that it hasn't, and they just do what basically people do now in their shows, which is just insert Riverdale. Okay, that's the theme song, we're done. Insert Sex Education. Okay, that's it, we're done. Like, why aren't people putting in effort into theme songs? That's like the favorite part of the show. Like, why? But Teen Wolf did it for the first season. Eventually, from season 2 all the way to 6, they add a theme song, and it is amazing. People should really look into making theme songs again, or not even like making theme songs. You don't even have to make it. Just pick a random song that you think goes with the show, and there you have it. Add the characters and the real names, and then just put the title at the very end. Stop putting the title in the theme song. Okay, there we go. We're done. Back to the show. Like, I'm gonna be here for an hour watching this show. I at least want like a few minutes enjoying, you know, like the Pretty Little Liars song or Orange is the New Black. Like, that stuff keeps people going. It doesn't even have to have lyrics. It can be like American Horror Story. Like, why are they cutting those parts out? Those are sometimes the best part of the show, because that gets me ready. That gets me excited. Watching the title of the show I know I'm already watching isn't exciting for me. And maybe that's why I know these people's names by heart, their real names by heart, because of the theme songs. And I enjoy watching them and seeing every single season where it changes to some different type of aesthetic or something. Like, it's not that hard. Do better, guys. Do better. Back to the show. So Scott finds out about his powers. He can hear things pretty well. He can smell things pretty well. And everything, like, it's weird, but he's, like, kind of liking it. He's into it. I also wrote in my notes, like, is having powers like this worth it? I think for vampires, they can read your minds. Why would I want to read someone's mind? You know how many cases I would catch? I would catch so many cases if I heard one hoe talking about me. Like, I couldn't do it. But like for a werewolf, if I wanted to hear something from far away, like, why would I need that? I mean, yeah, to see if like someone's coming, but like is it worth it? is smelling something a mile away that could smell like complete utter garbage, is that really worth it? Smelling someone's, like, I don't know, their sweat, and they live all the way in Nebraska and I live in Kentucky. Like, do I want to smell that? I don't even know if that's possible. If so, oh my gosh. Well, I'm saying it's like as if werewolves are real, but I'm just wondering, like, would you guys, if you had the ability to be a werewolf, would you take it? Think about it. Okay. So Scott, this is where Scott finds his crush. Like, he's in school, he is finding out these new powers he has, blah, 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 and he hears like this phone ring from somewhere, and he realizes it's outside, and he can hear this girl talking. Who was this girl? And the girl is Allison. This is where Allison comes in, the third character of the story. Maybe the fourth. I don't know. I don't remember when Derek pops up. I feel like he popped up. I don't remember. This is where Allison comes in. When Allison is having this conversation, when I first watched this for the second time, I was like, who the heck is she talking to? Because she was talking to her mom, and I don't remember her having a mother in the first season. I don't know why. And I'm just going to say the spoiler right now. So you can skip to this next part if you don't want to know what it is. Like, as you may or may not know, that Allison's mother eventually dies. I thought she was dead from the start. Like, I didn't know she was, or I didn't remember she was still alive. I remember her being in her husband's arms, and that's it. Like, I don't know why I just erased. I mean, I think it's because, honestly, Allison's mother was annoying. She was annoying. Like, who liked her, actually? The only time I felt bad for her a little bit is when she was dying. And it was like 1% out of 10. Because she, like, everything she did was so annoying. I was like, get out of here. We move on with life. So Lydia, this is when we see Lydia and Jackson now. We're meeting a lot of characters fast. Lydia walks over to Allison and asks her about her scarf, I think, like where she got it from. And then Allison's like, oh, my mom got it from some expensive place in a country that's not America. Just like, oh my gosh, you're my friend. We have to be friends. Because that's how friendships work in high school. And this is the part where Allison asks, like, oh, there's a football practice or something. And then Jackson's like, oh, football? Psh, we don't do football. We do lacrosse. Because lacrosse is hard. And then there's a montage of lacrosse, and there's like this reggae thing that's going on, this reggae music. I don't know if it fits the montage at all, but like it's still cool in a way, at least to me. So there's like this lacrosse practice of who gets to be on the team and who doesn't. That's why Scott was training the very first, because he was getting ready to play to see if he could make the team this year. He's doing really good because of all these superpowers that Scott has now gained from being a werewolf. And Jackson gets super jealous. And he gets jealous a lot. For a lot of these episodes, he is just extremely jealous. And that is basically, it's part of his character trait to be jealous of Scott in the first season. Because that is all this man talks about. The only thing that comes out of his mouth is like, how is he doing this? I need to know what is he taking? What drugs is he taking?
All right, little man. How about you tell me where you're getting your juice? What? Where are you getting your juice? My mom does all the grocery shopping. No, listen, McCall. You're going to tell me exactly what it is and who you're buying it from, because there's no way in hell you're out there kicking ass in the field like that without some sort of chemical boost. Oh, you mean steroids? Are you on steroids? What the hell is going on with you, McCall?
Like, calm down, bruh. Like, just because someone else is better than you doesn't mean that they're taking something. But there was a problem going on with Scott, and it was just up to Jackson to figure it out. As Jackson is like, you know, as this lacrosse thing is going on, we meet Derek, this tall, mysterious guy who apparently his family burned down like 10 years ago, and he was really upset about it. The only survivors were him and his sister. Dun, 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 dun. His sister is the body that Scott and Styles were looking for in the beginning of the show, where we meet the villain. Like, oh my goodness, it must be Derek, because Derek is this mysterious dude, and there's a lot of like, I don't know who told, well, not that I don't know who told him to do this, but like, it was just so uncalled for, the amount of shots that were taken in this one episode of Derek just staring at the boys like some weird stalker, and no one else, no adult was gonna come and talk to him about it. Like, every single time this man was staring at Scott. Like, it was getting a little weird. Like, I know it's not just me. It was getting a little weird. Moving on. So Stiles does some research on werewolves and then basically starts, like, blaming things on Allison. And he needs to work on being a werewolf, but he can't because there's a distraction. And the distraction is Allison. Scott wants to party, but it's the full moon. Also, it's his first date with Allison. Well, I don't know if it's a date, but they're hanging out together. And he's, like, really excited about it and stuff like that. He goes out the party, even though it's a full moon. Stiles is like, no, don't do it. You should be like focusing on how to turn and stuff. And Scott's like, my life is great right now. Leave me alone. Scott can't control himself, and runs out during the party and starts to turn into this werewolf. Allison is left alone. Derek is there at the party randomly and is like, I can take you home. So Stiles checks for Allison's safety because Scott and Stiles start thinking like Derek is the villain. He must be going out trying to get Allison. But Allison, apparently she did make it home. Everything was all right. But there's like this one scene when Scott goes to find Derek as he's still a wolf, and when I watched this scene, I couldn't take it seriously one bit. The way he jumped out of the freaking window and splashed into the water like it was some Step Up to the Streets movie. Like, that, what was that? That was so uncalled for. And it was just, like, I could not, it was just the best. Scott finds Derek in the woods, shocking, and then next thing you know, these werewolf hunters come out of nowhere. And it's like, oh my gosh, what is this? Scott's like, what's going on? And then Derek's like, shut up. We're about to get killed. Things move on, they're safe. Scott's safe. He's also a bit confused. Derek's like, you need to let me help you. Let me look, like, I don't know, he just vanishes into the woods, I think. I don't even know if he says all that stuff yet. Everything's fine. Pulls the audience in for the next episode. And it's towards the end. The hunter that tried to kill both Derek and Scott without knowing that it's Derek and Scott is, dun dun dun, Allison's father. Dun dun dun. The end. To be continued. End of episode 1. Like, oh my goodness, I have to watch the episode 2. So then we watch episode 2. So episode 2, Scott is still trying to control his anger, but Scott and Stiles still don't trust him all that well because they're accusing Derek of killing his sister. Scott and Stiles find half of the body again because, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but Scott, once he found the body, that he didn't report it or anything because he got bitten and stuff, so he was kind of like thrown off. But then the body wasn't found. So they find the body again, and this time the police have it. Way to go, Popo. Also, episode 2 is where Scott finally kisses his Allison. It's after a lacrosse game, and then Jackson finds something suspicious. Insert "don't be suspicious."
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
After the game. Moving on to episode 3. Episode 3, Scott has a dream about him, definitely after school hours, because it's dark at night, and for some reason Allison and Scott are running into the parking lot where the school buses are. They're having their little moment, everything's hot, everything's sexual, blah, blah, blah. And then next thing you know, he tries to kill Allison, and we're like, oh my goodness, what? You're trying to kill your crush? Scott, you gotta do better than that. And then he wakes up, everything's normal, but then the next day when he goes to school, there's blood on the school bus and realizes that, oh my goodness, I may have killed someone. Dun dun dun. Teen Wolf theme song. Not theme song, but like the title for 1 second and then that's it. Scandalous. Also, we find out that the hunters actually know about Derek. They know he's a werewolf, but yet have not done anything to him. And I have realized, especially in season 2, what is the point of a hunter if they're not going to kill what they're searching for? Like, they're just going to, trap them and then tell them, okay, they're going to hurt them a little bit and be like, okay, don't do it again. And then let them go. Like, for what? Like, they might go kill someone again. You just hurt them a little bit to get them scared, I guess. Which is why Derek never seems scared around them. Because they don't do anything. We later on meet the vet. And the vet, I don't even remember his name. in the show. So many times he just says that he's a veterinarian. He's a veterinarian. Scott works for this guy and he is a veterinarian, but he knows like some secrets about werewolves and stuff, but doesn't want to admit it, as if the government is watching him. And if he says, yeah, I help werewolf, like everything is done. Like his career is over. He's homeless. Like, I don't know why he just doesn't say just at least certain people, especially to Scott when he asks him. I don't know why he doesn't do that. Towards the end of the episode, we find out that Derek didn't bite Scott and an alpha did. And we're like, what the heck is an alpha? Apparently alpha is like the highest ranking of the werewolf tribe. We move on to episode 4. I have this as my first note. There's this thing. There was a double date with Jackson, Lydia, Scott, and Allison, and they all went bowling. And Scott was really sucking at it, and he knew he was gonna suck at it, but he wanted to impress Allison, and he also wanted to like piss off Jackson a little bit. When he was rolling the ball into the to knock down the pins, he was hitting the gutter every single time. Every single time. Every single time. Every single time. And there's just this one moment where Allison tried to help him by saying, picture me naked. And I don't know why that was so important enough for it to be a part of the recap of previously on Teen Wolf. And Allison's like, picture me naked. They did it at least 3 times. Like, why? This is not at all important. Why do you keep mentioning it? Like, it was just so funny to me. Back to the serious stuff. Episode 4. We meet a mysterious woman. We realize, like, later on that it's Allison's aunt. And we're all going to learn to not like her. She is in on the hunt, which makes sense because she's Allison's Allison's aunt. Everyone knows about this hunting thing in Allison's family except for Allison. She shoots Derek with this bullet that stays in him, and usually like they're supposed to heal and stuff, but he wasn't healing. Scott meets the parents, Allison's parents. They're very suspicious about him, of course. Like while Scott's there, he's also trying to get something to cure him. Derek eventually gets cured. Towards the end, Kate and Allison's father having this conversation about being hunters and stuff. And his father is like, well, we need to remember how to play by the rules. And then Kate's like, oh my gosh, I always play by the rules. Shut up. Also, I'm too lazy to like go back in time and search through all the episodes to see when Uncle Peter, he plays a big role in this season. Uncle Peter is one of the other family members from the Hale family. Derek is Uncle Peter's nephew, if you know how like the family tree works. Peter is like in this hospital. He is unable to move. He was the only person in the fire who was able to survive the fire, and apparently he got like paralyzed from it and couldn't move, couldn't talk, and yeah, or so we think. So episode 5, Lydia and Jackson find a werewolf at Blockbuster. This is not actually Blockbuster, but when I was watching it, it looked like Blockbuster. So we're calling it Blockbuster. It's actually called Video. I don't know if it's supposed to be 2-star C or 2C, Video to C. Oh, maybe. Oh my gosh, that kind of makes sense now that I'm reading it out loud. But like the inside, it looks like Blockbuster, so that's what I'm calling it. Out of nowhere, there's this werewolf. I forgot to mention, like in episode 4, Jackson, or Derek's claws go into Jackson's neck because Jackson, you know, he really wants to know what's going on, and he thinks that Derek is the supplier.
Steroids. No, Girl Scout cookies. What the hell do you think I'm talking about?
It's an obsession with Jackson to figure out what's going on. While Derek is sick and stuff, he puts his claws into Jackson's neck, and apparently it was like really deep or something like that. So, which causes problems later on in the seasons. Because of this mark on the neck, the werewolf decides not to get Jackson and decides to leave. And the way he decides to leave is not the way he came in, which is to bust through the video store's window. So we skip to school because of Allison's birthday. Scott has this idea, like, let's just leave school and celebrate your birthday together by just walking in the woods. Love that.
Just not feeling particularly hospitable.
Maybe he's out, burying a bone in the backyard.
Really? A dog joke? Go in there and that's the best you got?
And these hunters bust out. Kate admits that she and her hunters had nothing to do with her sister dying because there were bite marks on her sister, and clearly hunters can't do that. Then Fit finds out from Derek that Derek doesn't know who this mountain lion, in quotes, also known as the Alpha, is, which is the only reason why they wanted to get to Derek, was to figure out who the Alpha is, and Derek has no idea, so he is now useless to them. Moving on, we're back at the veterinarian place where Styles' father, Officer Stilinski, comes in with like 3 or 4 different photos of the attack that happened at the video store, and he places them on the table saying like, oh my gosh, like this doesn't look like a mountain lion because it turns into a human. The veterinarian is just clueless. He's like, I'm sorry, I'm just a veterinarian. I have a sick dog that needs to be treated. I need to go right away. And then for the very last part of the episode, between Scott and Allison's father, they're thinking that it's the werewolf, the Alpha. But it turns out it's actually a mountain lion. Episode 6. Scott is doing some grocery shopping and he's in a parking garage. He can't seem to find where his car is, and so he's going up to like going down different floors trying to figure out where, like, Derek testing him on his like wolf instincts, like if the Alpha's trying to get him or whatever, he can defend himself. But here's the thing that I was getting when I was rewatching this episode, but where did Scott's car actually go? Like, he got there obviously to go get the groceries, but where did Derek put it? So did Derek move the entire thing to a different floor? Like, I don't know. I was just like, where did the car go? Like, how did he get into the car? You know, did he move with his muscly werewolf arms, or did he actually like hotwire the? I don't feel like he hotwired the car. Like, if we're being honest, this is a supernatural show. So, Allison calls Scott, and his phone rings, and that's how Derek catches Scott. And he's like, you need to get rid of Allison because she is the problem. We're going to be hearing this for the next couple of episodes, but Allison is the problem, and Jackson is jealous of Scott. That is the majority of what you're hearing in season 1. Then Allison starts to learn about her family because Kate wants her to secretly, like, try to lead her into the family lifestyle, even though she's too young to know about it right now. But Kate's like, I don't care about what your father says. Okay, I'm doing it anyway. This is where Styles starts to teach Scott self-control, and they actually figure out, what do you know, that Allison is the solution. Shocking, I know. And then Jackson becomes very sick from the scratch that Derek gives him, and then he also starts to become nice to Allie because he thinks if being close to Allie might get him into knowing what's Scott going through. The Alpha, quote unquote, kills Derek.
Or so he thinks.
Majority of the time in episode 7 is there's just a wild goose chase going on in the school after hours, and they're just trying not to, die. Allie is mad at Scott for leaving him at a certain point towards the end of the episode to try and go figure out what's going on. But little did everyone else know, except for Styles, is that Scott's a werewolf, so he can defend himself. So Scott finds the Alpha, wants Scott to kill his friends, not for the Alpha to kill his friends. Towards the very end, he blames it on Derek, which is the person that has been helping him out this entire time. It was kind of like a huge stab in the back for him. Episode 8.
25% of your grade can be earned right now simply by writing your name on the cover of the blue book. However, as happens every year, one of you will inexplicably fail to put your name on the cover, and I'll be left yet again questioning my decision to ever become a teacher. So, let's get the disappointment over with. Begin.
Jackson gets really angry after being the co-captain and not being the captain of the team. Anyway, Lydia ends up kissing Scott because she's just upset that Scott or Jackson is starting to hang out more with Allison, so she gets pissed about it. Allison spills the beans on Scott knowing Derek to her aunt, and techno music plays. End of episode 8. Episode 9. Everything gets better because we see the Alpha. So this is actually where the episodes start to get better. So Scott is searching for Allison's necklace in order to kill the Alpha. Jackson finds out Scott's big secret. Scott tells Jackson everything, like what's going on, and like it's not that fun being a werewolf. Like there are people hunting to get him, and it's not fun. But Jackson, of course, he doesn't care. He just wants to be better at lacrosse. But he's already the captain, so I'm like, why do you need to be any better than what you already are without any powers? Like, Scott needs powers in order to be better. You're better naturally, but yet you still want to, like, for what? There's no lacrosse Olympics that you can go to. So I really don't understand what's the problem. And it's just for lacrosse. Apparently, since he's the captain of the swim team as well, he doesn't think that he needs the werewolf powers to be better at the swim team too. It's just for lacrosse, for I don't know what reason. I guess lacrosse is like the most amazing sport in whatever state they live in. Anyway, then towards the very end, we found out who the alpha is, and the alpha is, dun dun dun, it's Peter. Yes, the man who couldn't move, talk, and barely breathe is Peter, who stands up on both of his hind legs. Episode 10. Allison gets suspicious about her family's secrets and feels like no one's really telling the truth here. Now Peter's up and alive and no one really knows about him except Derek, Styles, and Scott. Ready to get under Scott's skin and wants Scott to like join him or something. I don't remember how, but he gets healed by the veterinarian, and this is where Scott finds out that the veterinarian knows a lot more about healing animals, but like a different type of animal. Episode 11. Derek is locked up by Kate, because Kate captures him somehow. I don't remember. I'm sorry. And then Peter is looking for Scott because he wants him to be on his side. There's a school dance where Lydia goes with Styles, surprisingly, and because Styles has this huge crush on Lydia. I don't know if I've said this before. Oh, Allison goes with Jackson. It took Scott apparently 11 episodes to say the 3 words, "I love you." Not to Allison, but about Allison when he was talking to Scott or Styles. Out of nowhere, Allison's dad, they're on the bus, like about to, do what they want to do on prom, or not prom night, it's like dance night, homecoming. At first it's kind of weird because it seems like Allison is in on this, but then you realize like towards the end, like, oh my gosh, she's not. Allison's dad and one of his hunter, in order to show Allison that he's a werewolf, they decide to almost crush him, like show Allison like he's not the guy that she thinks he is. But like if Scott was thinking, he could have, with the amount of time that he had gotten by just looking at the cars and then looking at Allison on the bus, he could have just rolled under the bus and was saved. But no, he had to jump up like a hyena and land on both of the cars, and his werewolf face showed, and Allison was like, oh my gosh, what the heck is on his face? Those sideburns, those eyebrows, they gotta go. Episode 12, the finale. So Kate takes Allison away. She wants to know, how to protect herself, because she wants to be strong when they were locked in the school. Because she felt so weak and she felt like she wanted to do something. Kate kind of helps her out with that. So everyone's searching for Derek because he's a felon, because apparently he's been killing all these people, and is found by Scott. So Peter comes to kill Kate for burning the house, and because we all find out like it was Kate's, like we're also wondering like if it's Kate's fault, like wait, did she do it? Like how do we know? And it's because like Kate, she doesn't like playing by the rules anymore, because she feels like those rules aren't getting them anywhere in life. Which honestly, she's not wrong, because all they do are hurt the werewolves and that's it. And I guess they let them go. But Kate's like, we need to do more than that. We actually need to kill them, because if we don't, they're gonna keep doing what they're doing and ignore us and probably kill us too, because we're hunting them. So Kate admits to saying that she was the one that burned down the house, that caused the Hale family to disperse or drift away like in Avengers, but in ashes. It's kind of dark. Anyway, it's just getting in the way. Kind of like the mother. Peter is still the alpha and he is the villain. There's a rule, if Derek kills the person that turned Scott, that Scott dies. But instead, Derek kills the alpha, and instead of Scott dying, he's alive, he's well, he's doing great. Derek becomes the alpha instead. And then there's like this big heroic in-awe music going on. Peter, during all this chaos, bit Lydia. Oh my goodness, I know. But Lydia does not turn for some reason. She is just laid up, all bruised up, all dirted up from the lacrosse field. She's getting a reaction out of the bite, but it's not the reaction that you usually get when you get bitten. So people are like, what's going on with Lydia? Is she all right? Is homegirl doing okay? Here comes needy Jackson, whatever his last name is, saying, I did everything you told me to do, Derek. Turn me right now. We're all wondering like, oh my goodness, is Derek actually going to kill Jackson because he's so annoying? But he doesn't. He actually turns Jackson. Dun dun dun. I don't know who told Allison to walk like this, or Crystal Reed to walk like this, but it just felt so awkward, because it felt like she was walking in slow motion, even though it was already in slow motion. And it looked like she was limping too, but she wasn't hurt. It was just so confusing. But after that, there was like this good, sometimes Teen Wolf, their edits were good. Like they were making money moves for sure. It was just some good editing to me. And I had to applaud on that. But anyway, and this episode ends with Scott and Allison together. Sitting on a roof. Teenagers, like, do teenagers actually do this? Like, I don't know if this is like a thing, but I feel like it wasn't. Sitting on a rooftop with your significant other or just your friend. Like, wouldn't you be afraid to fall? Especially in the picture that I'm showing right now. Like, it looks like they could just end it all right there. One slip, one sneeze, one cough, one hachoo. You know? Alright, and that is it for season 1. I tried to sum it up as much as I could. Teen Wolf had about 6 seasons they started in 2011 and ended in 2017. For some reason, I thought that this show had around like 24 episodes, like the average for shows back then in the early 2000s. But apparently they had 12, like around 12. Season 1, they had 12 episodes. Season 2, they had 12 episodes. And oh my goodness, I don't know why, but I just finished season 2 before I even started talking about season 1. And that show drags on for a long time. 12 episodes for what? That should have ended halfway. Because it felt like it lasted so long. Like, if you guys want me to talk about season 2, I will be more than happy to. But maybe I thought that the show was so long because I was waiting to watch season 3 because I know what's coming for season 3, and even though it makes me sad, like, I'm still excited to watch it. Because, like, Dylan O'Brien's acting in that, top tier. Amazing. Even if I don't get any responses, I'm going to take that as an answer as a yes. Because I will be talking at least all the way up to season 3. Because season 3, which has apparently 24 episodes, it's the only season that has the most episodes. It is the best season, in my opinion. And so it has every right to have the most episodes. Because a lot goes on. And everything needs to be said in season 3. And that's when, to me, season 3 goes downhill. Or the rest of the seasons go downhill and no one really cares. Season 4 has 12 episodes. Season 5 has 20. And season 6 has 20. So it was kind of odd to me that season 1, 2, and 4 have 12 episodes, because that's what we're used to watching nowadays, like on Netflix and stuff. Shows that they're creating with the one title as their theme song. They usually have no more than 10 episodes nowadays instead of like the 24. Like, honestly, over 20 episodes is a lot. So how did we put up with that? But they were so good. Now I feel like if they did episodes like of Stranger Things, if that had 20 episodes in one season, I feel like it wouldn't be as impactful as it is with 12. You know what I mean? Hopefully. So during this like segment, I just want to like talk a little bit about like why it's such an addicting show. Definitely the relationship between Scott and Allison. Not really Lydia and Stiles, because we all knew like Lydia was still into Jackson, and even though Stiles like had a crush on Lydia just wasn't really having it. And I'm actually glad, another spoiler, that they didn't make Lydia and Stiles a thing, because it was what we were all expecting. Between that and Stiles' father and Scott's mother, I'm so glad they didn't make that a thing either. You don't really need to, please the entire fandom, because it would have been so typical if they did it that way. They just made them friends. Anyway, Teen Wolf is not a girls' show. Like, guys actually watch it. I feel like Vampire Diaries is more of a girl show, and Teen Wolf is like mixed for girls and guys. I also think that weirdly, like in society, werewolves are mostly male. We think of them as mostly male, and vampires, we think of them as mostly female. But when I was searching for movies and TV shows for vampires, there's Twilight, there's Vampire Diaries, there's Shadowhunters. I don't know if Shadowhunters I don't know if that's a vampire show. Supernatural creatures in them. There was also the originals, True Blood, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And Buffy the Vampire Slayer was the biggest vampire show out there. It lasted the longest. I don't know if it had the highest rankings compared to Vampire Diaries and even True Blood. That was the longest running vampire show. Then there's also Dark Shadows, Vampire Academy. Oh my goodness, that movie took me back for a second. Not in a good way. And then there's Hotel Transylvania. And then for me, this is where the whole vampire thing started all, which was My Babysitter's a Vampire on Disney Channel. Amazing. They should have kept going, but they didn't, because they don't like to see us win. They don't. And then when I looked up werewolves, movies and TV shows, besides like zombies, there's like a couple, but like not that much. There was Zombies 2. There was Twilight, I guess. I forgot that this movie existed, but on Nickelodeon, The Boy Who Cried Wolf with Victoria Justice. I totally forgot that existed. So basically Teen Wolf was at its prime as far as like the werewolf industry, because they were the only one that was like making something out of werewolves while everyone was making vampire stuff. So like shout out to the writer. I forgot his name. He's the only name I can't remember for some unknown reason. But I remember his face as if I knew him myself. I looked at the ratings. The ratings for season 1, according to Rotten Tomatoes, 68% versus like 81% for audience score, and then tomato meter, which I don't know what that is. I don't really care either. And then season 2 apparently had the highest ratings because they had 90% for the tomato meter and the audience score. But the ratings overall, the average was about 80 to 90%, which is not bad at all. Except for season 4, which had, I think it was in the 60s, like 68, 62 or something. And honestly, I can see why. Because after season 3, I don't think anyone really wanted to see what the heck was going on with Teen Wolf. Because it really crushed our hearts like that. They really did it. Season 4 had only 12 episodes, but season 5 and 6 did pretty well. But season 2 had the highest ratings, and I think it's just because everyone was like ready to see what was happening after season 1. They did win a few awards, and then I just kind of like skipped to all the other ones because they weren't that important, because they won 2 awards from People's Choice, but Teen Choice Awards, they were supreme in the Teen Choice Awards. They won so many. I think it was, I'm trying to look at my notes here, from literally all the way from 2011 to 2016. So from the minute they started to almost the minute they ended, which is pretty crazy that they won some type of award. It was only in season 6, their final season, where they didn't win one or anything, which I don't know why. Next, we're going to talk about the cast. And the cast, to me, was everything and more. Just like Vampire Diaries, the cast seemed really close. I don't know. I know I'm not the only one, based on the views, that would watch the Comic-Con interviews from Teen Wolf and just see like how close everyone looked. Like, who knows if it was like real, but I feel like it was compared to the reunion, which I'll talk about in a second. But just like Vampire Diaries, I don't know if any of them dated each other. I don't know if anyone dated each other like they did in Vampire Diaries, because if you search the Vampire Diary dating history, like the cast dating history, everyone was dating each other. Like, everyone knew about Nina Dobrev and Ian Somerhalder. Everyone. I was like, oh my gosh, y'all need to calm down. Like, there are other people out in this world that y'all can date, and none of them are together anymore either. I don't know. I don't really feel like searching either to see if any of the Teen Wolf cast dated each other, but I feel like they don't, and I feel like that's why they still look like they all remain friends, because no one really dated anyone. Maybe I will check, but I choose not to look, just so that won't ruin it for me, you know? Also, another thing about why this show was Disney was the cast was stunning. And it was a hot cast, okay? No one can say otherwise. You at least have to find someone attractive. Whether it was a gender you liked or not, like, you had to find them attractive. Like Lydia, Holland Roden, beautiful. Tyler Hoechlin, amazing. Dylan O'Brien, a cutie pie. Tyler Posey, another cutie pie, a chaotic one, but another cutie pie. Crystal Reed, between her and Tyler Posey, their jawline, oh my gosh. Especially, like, every time I looked at Allison's, I was just like, they even made a comment about it in the show of his jawline being, you know, not symmetrical, and how it stood out. And it still does, because he hasn't changed it. Good for him. But, like, Crystal Reed's, what? Like, it's unfair. Her jawline is, like, would cut anything and everything if she wanted it to. And then when I was looking at the parents, the people that play her parents, I'm like, why did they cast these two people when they don't look like her? Especially the mother. I was like, why did they make her the mother of Allison? And then I looked for a second. It was towards season 2. It was towards a moment that I shouldn't have been thinking about it, but, you know, my mind wanders. So I realized that even Allison's mother has, like, a good jawline. And I'm like, maybe that's why they did it. Maybe. Or maybe she's just a good actress, because she annoyed the crap out of me. All right, so moving on to the reunion. It was their 9th anniversary sometime last year, June 5th of 2020. And to me, they still seemed close, and it doesn't really seem like anyone has aged at all. Even like the adults, the people that were adults on the show, they still don't look like they've aged now, even though it's been 9 years. But I will also put like the link of, because I'm pretty sure they still have it. I think they were doing it for a charity or something last year, or maybe that was just for Maze Runner reunion. Everyone still seemed like close to one another, which, I mean, that's what makes the cast so good. Everyone just seems so nice to each other and so friendly. I mean, I don't particularly know, because I don't know not one single person, sadly, on that show, but that's what it seemed like to me. And then I was tricked almost, because I thought Teen Wolf was coming back into our lives, and I'm honestly, because someone did a really good, and I mean really good, to the fact, because usually fan-made, like, they don't trick me or anything, but this one did. And I was a little excited. But then I realized that they were starting to use, like, you know, when they make fan-made stuff, they use the characters that are supposed to be in that show, but they use clips from something where they weren't a part of that show. Like, they were using, like, Maze Runner clips. Like, okay, a bit odd. But this one, it didn't do that for me. So I was like, oh my gosh, are they doing a reboot? Yes, please. But then I realized it was fake when I was looking at the comments, and when I thought about it, I'm so glad they're not having a reboot. The reunion is all we need. Let's be honest, most of the reboots, no one asked for it, you know? So, like, why make something we didn't ask for? Like, you're making She's All That. Like, you're making movies that no one asked for, or TV shows no one asked for, and usually they're not good. But right now, it's like reboot season still, and it's not going away, sadly. I don't know, I guess since people were in quarantine, they thought, oh, maybe people just need to rewatch shows. Like, we can just rewatch, like how I'm doing now. Rewatch the season and call it a day. Not remake new episodes, and then they all suck. Overall, these are the overall opinions of why the show is so addicting. And they have a lot of good cliffhangers, not in every single episode, like Pretty Little Liars, where there's like a secret text from A, or they have like the A making something that connects to the next episode or the next season that keeps us like on the edge of our seat. But like, they were so good. Like, for example, Allison's dad being Wolf Hunter. It's like, oh my goodness, like, that's a great way to end the first episode, because we're wondering, like, is Allison in on this? Is Allison's dad trying to get, you know, you're like, you just have so many questions. Another reason was the villains. You know they're a villain when they, I don't know why Teen Wolf was the only one that did this. Not even Vampire Diaries. But they have this certain look that they give you to notify you that they are a villain or that they are a werewolf, which is like, it's like they're looking up at you, but looking down at you at the same time. Like the director said, you really need to look down at these people while looking up at them at the same time and call it a day and be done with it. End of episode, you know, 2000. Also, there was a lot of funny moments in the show. Mostly they went to Styles. Like, he carried the comedy, and it wasn't like too extra. I mean, sometimes it kind of was, but like some of the things he said, it just felt natural, I feel like, versus not, instead of trying hard. They also just had a good storyline. Like, season 2, another spoiler, there were some sad deaths going on to bad people, and if you want me to talk about season 2, I will talk more about that. But as far as like season 1, we wanted to see where Scott goes as far as being a werewolf. Like, is he going to die? Is he going to live this out? Like, try to figure out how to control his anger, control being a werewolf, surviving the full moon. Like, there were just so many reasons why. And then, you know, like the relationships and stuff, and Allison's dad, like, and the parents of Allison's, like, how are they going to deal with this? And Styles' dad and Scott's mom ever going to figure out what's going on? Like, that there's werewolves actually going on. Or Scott is a werewolf, and werewolves are a real thing, and it's not mountain lions. Also, people were into the relationships. There were good relationships in this show. Of course, there was Scott and Allison, but then people were also wondering, like, will Lydia and Styles ever get together? Will Scott's mom and Styles' dad ever get together? And then there was this whole thing of like Jackson turning. Like, how is this going to be for him? Like, he just turned into a werewolf. Is he going to get what he wants, or is he going to get what he deserves? There's just a lot of questions that were raised in the show. They were just questions that needed to be answered, which is why season 1 was renewed for season 2. And then they renewed all the way to season 6. And then they stopped at season 6, and thank goodness that they did. Honestly, I don't remember what happens in season 6. I just remember Styles and Scott riding off into the Jeep. I think Scott rides with Styles in the Jeep. I don't remember. If you want me to talk about season 2, like I've said 1,000 times, I will do it. I think this is just me saying that I'm going to do it. I just finished season 2, and I tried to sum up all 12 episodes as much as I can. If I do this season thing, I'm stopping at season 3, I'm telling you right now, because season 4, 5, and 6 really don't mean anything to me. I think personally that I'm going to stop watching Teen Wolf after season 3. I think. I don't know. I still have other things to binge. Because once I saw Teen Wolf was free to watch on Hulu, I was like, okay, goodbye to everything else I was watching before on the streaming platforms. Teen Wolf, I'm watching it like I've never seen it in my entire life, and it's my first time seeing it. So, yeah. I think it only took me like a week to watch 2 seasons. So, but anyway, thank you guys for listening. If you have any like suggestions on what else you would like to see, please let me know. I am starting out. Thank you for the views so far on my life with Derek. I've yet to see a comment, but hopefully y'all will comment on this one and give me your insight on Teen Wolf, because I would love to see it, like other people's point of views on certain things that I talked about. And yeah, this time, unlike last time, I know how to stop this recording. I'm gonna end it here with some good music in the background. I might add the Teen Wolf. Actually, No, because I was like, I'll add the theme song. But then if I do season 2, then I'll ruin it. So maybe I won't even add the theme song. Yeah, I won't do that. Okay, goodbye. Thank you so much for my film talk. Peace out. Ew. Okay, bye.
2 joggers found a body in the woods. A dead body? No, a body of water. Yes, dumbass, a dead body.
The schedule busy, my head in a hoodie, my shorty a goodie, my cousins are crazy, my cousins like boogie. Life is amazing, it is what it should be. Been here for